Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this specific lecture I actually wanted to address a bug which was posted by one of our students. So I got a query from William Roberts, and he's one of our students, and he mentioned that there's one potential issue with one of the features of our course. So technically what he mentioned is that the code for adding items to the shopping cart does not work, especially when we are actually trying to add items from different pages, and if those items does not exist on that page, then those particular items are not shown in the cart. So let's say, for example, if the cart actually has an item whose ID is 3, and if we are actually going to page 2 where the item with ID 3 does not exist, then it won't be able to fetch those IDs and display them in a popover. So this was actually a bug, and this mostly occurred due to adding pagination, and this happened because all the items were not displayed on the same page. So I didn't realize that this was really a bug, but thanks to William, because of him it was possible for me to know that that bug existed. So I came up with a fix for that. So let me replicate the bug so that you'll get an idea of what that bug actually was. So yeah, if you go to the browser, as you can see, we have this item here, and now if I add laptop, if I hit refresh, laptop is added as well. So it works really well if you just take it like that. But if I search for laptop, go to this page, now what happens is that if I click on this, as you can see, nothing happens because now it's not actually able to find those two items which were added to the cart, and that was causing an issue. So as you can see, the cart button no longer works here. And the reason why this happens is because if you actually take a look at the add to cart functionality, which is nothing but this thing right here, what we have essentially done here is that we are trying to get the IDs. So first of all, we actually got the IDs of items from the cart, and then we are trying to access those items or get those particular items from our HTML document. So this line does exactly that. That is, it's trying to fetch all the items from the HTML document, and obviously this does not work in this case because it does not have those items on this page. However, if I go back here, hit refresh, and now if I click over here, now it's able to fetch those items because those items are actually present here. So what happens if I make a search and now I need to add some items, I need to view my cart, it does not work here. So in order to fix this, what we have done is that instead of fetching those items from the HTML document, instead we will try to fetch items from the cart itself. So after adding the checkout functionality for our application, what we have done is that we have actually added the item name as well as quantity to the local storage. So that means if we already have some content stored inside the local storage, we no longer need to go ahead and fetch items using the document. Instead, we could fetch items from the local storage itself. So over here, what I have done is that instead of getting items from the cart, over here what I have done is that I've actually gotten those items from the cart object. And what is cart object? A cart object is nothing but we essentially got access to the cart which is stored in the local storage, and then I have converted it into a JSON format so that we will be able to loop through the quantities and names of them. So let me actually give you a brief demo of that over here. So let's clear this. Okay, so here now if we actually go to the local storage, so if I would do local storage dot get item, and if I would do get item cart, now as you can see, we already have the quantity as well as items in the cart, so we no longer need to go ahead and access those from here. So once we do that, now I have actually converted this thing into a JSON object. So here I have said JSON dot, that's going to be pass, and then I have simply passed in local storage dot, that's get item and cart. So what this does is that it actually gives us this particular JSON which we could access, and to access each individual item inside that JSON, I have actually used a for loop. So if you select each item from these, you will actually get access to these specific items which are stored in there. So once you got access to those particular items, what I have done is that I have tried to access the item's first property. So the first property which I have tried to access here, or the item of 0, this actually gives us the quantity, and item of 1 gives us the name. So now instead of actually getting the quantity as well as the name like that, instead what we have done is that we got those particular quantities from the cart object itself. So this gives us the quantity, this gives us the name, and then essentially we have combined them together as a string. We have added the break tag here, and then we have made that into our cart string, and that cart string is displayed up over here. So now let's check how this newly modified thing would work. So now if I just go to the home page, as you can see we have all the items, and obviously if I go to the cart will be shown here. However, if I go to search laptop, if I search for laptop, as you can see the other items aren't present here, and therefore if I go back here and if I check that, as you can see now we are actually able to access the cart, and it also shows the name of the watch as well as the name of the product which is back, even though they are not present over here. So if you'll notice, those items are not present here, still we are able to display them in the cart, and this is how we fix the bug. So hopefully this addresses every student issue in the course which was related to this bug. And thanks again to William for pointing this thing out. It was of great help.